My name is Miguel Prado. You can maybe call me the movie Encyclopedia. I think that would be a cute little nickname for my channel. This is my first YouTube vlog where I am going to be reviewing the newest Disney Pixar movie, Toy Story 4, which I'm really excited to talk about for many reasons. So I guess let's get started with this. When Toy Story 4 was first announced a couple of years ago, I, like many other people, were not really on board with this movie. I felt that Toy Story 3 perfectly ended the franchise, and just doing another movie felt like just greedy and a huge cash cow. But then, like a week ago, the reviews started coming in and they were incredible. I mean, this movie had a 100% for a week on Rotten Tomatoes, and even now it's still at like a 97%. I mean, the reviews were just amazing. So I came into this movie actually with high expectations. And if I'm being honest, this movie met most of them. Toy Story 4 was a heartwarming, emotionally resonant, and truly fantastic animated film that really lives up to the first three movies. I admit it wasn't quite as good as the first three Toy Story movies, but it came really, really close, and it was still, for me, one of the best Toy Story movies of the 2010 era. So let's start with a little plot synopsis. Toy Story 4 follows Woody as he introduces a brand new toy into Bonnie's toy room, Forky, played by Tony Hale from Arrested Development. Forky is a spork turned toy who really doesn't want to be a toy and keeps trying to just, throw himself in the trash, destroy himself. And this leads Woody to try and save him. But along the way, Woody bumps into his long-lost love, Bo Peep, played by the fantastic Annie Potts, known for playing the assistant in the Ghostbusters movies. Woody reunites with her, and they go on this miraculous journey together as they realize the importance of purpose and of the inevitability of change. And that's what really is what this movie does so well. What's really great about this movie is the story. Toy Story 4 has an incredible story that focuses on such an important message that, like all the Pixar movies, all the Toy Story movies really, is a message that we don't really get to see, or we haven't seen in a lot of animated films. This movie focuses on how purpose is sometimes, how in life our purpose changes. What we want out of life changes, and that's okay. But it's important that we make a change when we want our purpose, when we want our lives to change. And this really connects very well to Bo Peep and Woody's love story in the film, which for me was the best part of this film, was these characters and their story, specifically the chemistry between Annie Potts and Tom Hanks. Those two had brilliant chemistry together, and that basically sets up this fantastic story between them that really symbolizes the message of the film. And this message is unbelievably profound. It's unbelievably heartwarming. It leads to the great ending of this film, which, by the way, you definitely are going to want to bring tissues to this movie, because like Toy Story 3, you are going to be sobbing in this film. I cried for a good 3 minutes during this movie. I mean, I was sobbing. I had not cried this hard since A Star is Born. This movie, like the other Toy Stories, is a major tearjerker, and that's really all I can ask from the Toy Story franchise, especially for the last film. But it has even more. I mean, on top of the fact that it has a really great, heartwarming story, it also has a fantastic comedic story. This is one of the funniest Toy Story movies and one of the funniest Pixar movies, thanks to its fantastic brand new cast. We got Forky, who, played by Tony Hale, is absolutely hilarious. Duke Kaboom, played by a surprise cameo by Keanu Reeves, absolutely loved him. He was basically this franchise's version of Evel Knievel, and I loved him. He was absolutely hilarious. But truly, major props, absolutely the best props, have to go to Ducky and Bunny, played by Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. They were spectacular in this movie. I am shit you not. Sorry for the language. this movie, these characters were amazing. They were fantastic. It turns out Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele not only recorded together, but they actually ad-libbed a lot of their lines in this movie, and that's why they're the best characters in this film, because Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key are amazing comedic talents, and in this movie together, making their own lines, they bring the two of the funniest characters to ever be in a Toy Story movie. And they were also in the movie a lot more than I was expecting, and they were just fantastic. Every scene with those two was fantastic. Buzz is also, obviously, you gotta have Toy Story with Buzz. Tim Allen is great as Buzz. Sadly, he doesn't get that much to do as he does in the other three films, and his role in this movie is more clownish, more comedic, and less serious than the other movies. But he also has some of the funniest moments in this film. Like, honestly, every time he opened his mouth, I was laughing. He was absolutely hilarious, but he still has some deep moments at the very end of the film. What really, like I said, the story is what really stands out in this film, but of course, as a Pixar movie, you gotta talk about the animation. This movie has the most stunning animation of this franchise to date. I was so stunned by the amount of detail, specifically in the skin. Like, the skin of the human characters look so photorealistic. I was like, did they use motion capture for this movie? Because I was like, why does this look so real? It was, as part of the magic of this movie, the animation is never been better in Toy Story 4. It's never been as good as this. Also, the water looked really, really good in this movie. I mean, that's just a small piece, but like, they took a lot from Finding Dory with like the water, like making it look so photorealistic, and the way it ripples in the film. Like, that's just two of the big pieces that I noticed in the film. But overall, this movie has some of the most photorealistic animation of all the Pixar movies, so that's an absolute plus. Obviously, the voice acting is incredible. Tom Hanks, Annie Potts, Keegan-Michael Key, Jordan Peele, Keanu Reeves, Tim Allen are all fantastic in this film. If I had to make my first major complaint, it's that we do not get to see that much of the original characters. You know, Slinky, Rex, Potato Head, those guys from the first three movies who were so prevalent in those three movies. We do not get to see that much of them. They're very sidelined in the films. Most of those characters either have no lines or they have one or two lines. But despite that little qualm I have with the film, it was kind of necessary because the movie has so many great new characters, and the movie is really trying to focus on Bo Peep and Woody's story, which is the absolute highlight of this film. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that they went this direction. I mean, it's a bit sad that we couldn't see these characters for the last Toy Story movie. But, I mean, what we got was so much better than what a lot of fans were expecting from this film. And also, there's also the fact that Don Rickles, the original voice of Mr. Potato Head, died a few years back before he could start recording lines for Toy Story 4. So avoiding him and the other characters probably was the best move. I mean, animation is great, story is fantastic, voice acting, absolutely adore it. Tom Hanks just brings his A game, but special props has got to go to Annie Potts. She took a character that has not been seen in a Toy Story movie in 20 years and completely reinvented her and made her one of the best female characters in the Toy Story franchise. In fact, she's one of the best female characters in a Pixar movie. I just gotta give a round of applause to Annie Potts. She absolutely killed it as this brand new badass Bo Peep. I love her adventurous side. I love how she still cares about toys, but she's also a huge toy rebel, and she teaches Woody about the importance of changing your priorities, about changing what you want to do with your life, especially when the life you're living doesn't really suit you anymore. And I just absolutely loved her. I really did. And she's one of the absolute best reasons to watch this movie. So another thing I want to talk about is just the moments where I cried. This movie has some of the most heartbreaking moments, heartbreaking and heartwarming moments in the Toy Story franchise, and we get those at the end of the film. These these scenes, oh, I can barely talk about it without wanting to cry. I mean, these really heartwarming, heartbreaking scenes at the end had me in tears, which I haven't done in months. Okay, it's rare for me personally to cry in a movie, but Toy Story 4 made me cry hard. And that just shows you just how great this movie is. Even after 4 movies, these toys, these characters can still make you cry because the writers just know how to make you connect with these characters, and they know what to write, what dialogue to write for these characters to make the audience cry, to make you feel for them. And man, this is a big tearjerker. And I loved it. That's why I love this movie. That's why I love all the other Toy Story movies, because they can make me feel such strong emotions for toys. And Toy Story 4 continues that tradition. So in conclusion, Toy Story 4 is a fantastic animated film. One of the best Pixar movies of this decade. Another thing I want to touch on is where I rank this in regards to other Pixar movies. Here's how I split up Pixar movies in A-list, B-list, and C-list. A-list Pixar movies, to me, are basically the Pixar films before Cars 2. Basically, everything before Cars 2 is an A-list film, and after Cars 2, the A-list films I would consider before Toy Story 4 are Coco and Inside Out. Those are the only ones. Now the B-list. Those are Pixar movies, in my opinion, that are good, not great, but not terrible. They're good, but definitely not up to par with everything before Cars 2. Movies like that would be Brave, Monsters University, Incredibles 2, and Finding Dory. There's also other examples. If you want me to talk about that, we could do another video. We'll get to that later. And then there's C-list. To me, there's only one C-list bad Pixar movie, and that's Cars 2. It's generic, it's stupid. It was made just for kids and nobody else. Kids under 5, by the way. It's a bad movie. That's the only C-list movie. Toy Story 4, god damn it. I gotta put it in the A-list. This is one of the best Pixar movies of the last decade. This movie's up there with Coco and Inside Out as one of the best Pixar movies since Toy Story 3. It is an absolute triumph. Toy Story 4 has it all. It has the emotions and the heartwarming and heartbreaking moments we've come to expect from the Toy Story franchise. Great animation, a fantastic story, even if parts of it feel a little bit familiar. Most of the story feels really heartwarming, and it tugs at your heartstrings really hard, especially if you grew up with this franchise as I did. It also has great performances. Obviously, Tom Hanks and the rest of the cast are brilliant as always. And let me think. Really funny. This is probably one of the funniest movies I've seen this year, and one of the funniest Pixar movies ever. Thanks to work from people like Keegan-Michael Key. Toy Story 4 is a great movie. If I had to rank this, by the way, my ranking system is going to be out of 10 stars, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. I would give Toy Story 4 an 8 out of 10 stars. It is a must-see film for any Pixar fan, any animated film fan, and definitely any Toy Story fan. Well, I guess this is it. Thank you all for watching this video. I know I kind of stuttered a bit and I kind of messed up some words. This is my first time doing a YouTube vlog, so I guess go easy on me. But if you have any tips about how I can improve, tell me, and I'll take all of that into consideration. I hope that you will all subscribe to my channel, because I'm hoping that sometime soon I'll be able to do more videos. My schedule's a bit tight right now because I'm a college student, but I'm hoping to maybe do a review for Lion King, the Jon Favreau film, sometime in the next couple of weeks, or probably I'll start doing reviews in the fall after I graduate. But I'm hoping that you all like my video. I hope you'll share it with your friends, and I really hope that you all like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all. Remember, my name is Miguel, the Movie Encyclopedia. Thank you all for watching.